Goodness. When I tell you all the finger pointing, Katie, 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 Katie. I talked to Katie. Katie's speaking out. Katie is pointing back at the boys with the sinking boats. And I got to ask you something, a real honest question. Why would Nolan Wells leave his keys in his phone on a sinking boat? The boat is sinking, got water on it. The first thing you're going to say, if you're going to stay on the island, you know you're staying on the island. Give me my phone and give me my keys. Even if you are his friends, you know the boat is sinking. Nolan, you're staying here on the island. Take your phone and your keys with you. Okay? When I tell you the boys are crooked, when I tell you everybody in this case is pointing fingers. The boys are pointing at the girl, and the internet pointing at the boys, the town pointing at us for asking questions. But this week, the girl spoke. Katie, the mysterious girl they tried to wrap this whole story around. And baby, her family didn't just clear her name. They pointed the finger right back at that boat. And then the GPS came out, and the phone story came out, and the key story came out. And now ain't nobody left to point at. The whole thing done collapsed. Let's start with the phone call Nolan's mama got. The phone call Nolan's mama got. The boys called Nolan's mama and said, Nolan is missing. And Katie is missing too. But we don't know who she is. Stop there. Stop right there. Stop right there. First, people to ever say Katie's name in this case was who? The boys. Not the police, not the internet, the boys. So why? So the story starts with he stayed for a girl instead of we left without him, because that's what you did. You left him, you left without him from the jump. Honey, the frame was built on the first phone call. Now, Katie people done spoke. Her sister Gracie then stepped up and spoke on Katie's behalf. And here's what she had to say. Katie had just met Nolan that day. Just met him, honey. Just met him that day. And when it was time to go, Katie assumed the friends telling him to get on the boat wouldn't have left him. Read that again. The friends are telling him, get on the boat. The boys, get on the boat. So there was a moment the boys told him to get on the boat. He was getting on the boat. And then Katie left safe on a completely different boat with her family. And her people did what innocent people do. Cooperated fully with the law enforcement. She didn't have no lawyer parade, no lockdowns. So Katie was never his ride home, which means the only person responsible for Nolan getting off that island was the crew he came with, the boys and the boys' parents. Okay? And then Ben Crump dropped the hammer, baby. The young woman told them Nolan said he was planning to go back to get his friend's boat. That's the last known thing this boy said about his own whereabouts. Not, I'm staying. Not, I got another ride. I'm going back to the boat with my boys. Back to the boys, honey. That's what he said. That was the last person that talked to him, that spoke to him, the last woman that saw him alive. And that's what he said. So the he stayed behind for the girl story is dead. That is a lie. It is a lie. His last intention on this earth was to get on the boat with his friends, to get on that sinking boat where his keys was at, where his phone was at, to get on the boat. So I got one question. If he was going back to the boat and the boat left, then somebody on that boat made a decision. Well, who is the owner of the boat? The owner of the boat is Wyatt. Yeah, Wyatt. And they said that Wyatt and Nolan got into an altercation that day. They were beefing that day. So what really happened between he's coming and everybody's on board? Because everybody was not on board. That was a lie too. They lie so much. Just like they lying about the boat being broke down. If the boat is broke down and you call for somebody to tow the boat, but you didn't wait for them to come tow that boat because you were so in a hurry to get off that mother effing island because you done did something to Nolan. You was in a rush to get off the island. That's why they couldn't wait for the tow people. They left. They left and drove that boat several different hours, going to different pit stops. Mind you, but the boat is sinking. The boat got issues, but you still driving it later. They lie. All this shit is a lie. They lie. That's what they do. Lie, 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 lie. The parents heard two versions. One says he stayed with Katie. The other says he returned to the boat. And everybody treating that like a contradiction. It's not. Watch this. Version 1, he stayed for Katie, but Katie left on another boat. So after she left, his only way home was the boys' boat. Version 2, he went back to the boat, which puts him directly in the boys' hands. Both versions end at the same place. The boat was his ride. Every road leads back to that crew. And did you guys know they found his body at the same spot that boat was with his boys? That sinking boat, the spot where the sinking boat was, that is the exact spot where they found his body. Now, let's talk about this sinking boat because this is where the whole story falls in the water. This story, the pump stopped. The boat was taking on water. We're sinking. That's what the distress call said on the audio. That's why they had to leave the island. The boat was in trouble. Okay, then explain the GPS. The boat left Horns Island at 4:31 p.m. It docked at 5:44. That's almost an hour. And then this sinking boat takes off again. Fort Bayou at 5:52 and back at 6:06. Then out to the Fort Bayou boat launch at 7:19 p.m. Then it get hauled over land to the owner's house. A sinking boat don't do errands, y'all. Okay? A sinking boat is not doing all those errands. And mind you, they're driving in the water for over hours in the water on a sinking boat. You said the boat was breaking down, but you drove it for hours in the water in that big ocean. You said you had to rush off that island. Couldn't even wait for the tow. Couldn't wait for the tow. You called the people to help you, but you couldn't even wait for them. Because you driving hours and hours doing some stuff you ain't supposed to do, like hiding bodies. But you had time to cruise to Fort Bayou twice. You circled back. Did you circle back for Nolan? Did you think to go back to Nolan? Which lie you keeping? Because both can't breathe. Either the boat was sinking and y'all lied about the joy riding, or the boat was fine and y'all lied about the sinking to explain why you left him. Pick one. I'll wait. And now the part that should be on every news station in America. Javon Williams told the Sun Herd both of them left their phones on the boat. Stop. Think about that for a second. What 18-year-old leaves his phone anywhere? That phone is his lifeline. His mama on speed dial, his way for for help. And we're supposed to believe that Nolan left his phone and his keys on a boat that was sinking, on a one thing he'd need if something went wrong. No way. If he stand behind by himself, the first thing you're gonna get for you is your phone and your keys. If you're gonna make a conscious decision to stay there by yourself on a effing island and you're like an hour away from the other land, come on now. And you know he's hungry unless they run some snacks. They left early in the morning. So no way that don't happen. Boys that age sleep with the phone on their chest, and then the phone shows up at a house on land, full of people watching TV in the dark, pushing back on giving his mama the phone till a mother got on a speakerphone. 15 minutes to pull a phone out of the trunk, out of a trunk, and when she finally gets it, the Snapchat history on both accounts is empty, swiped. The keys, his daddy went asking. And mind you, the keys is at a different house, at a different friend's house. But they all gang, they all friends. The boy who lived there couldn't find them. He said, I couldn't find the keys. Didn't know where they were at. Then a girl on the phone remembered they were on the Xbox because somebody told. And another boy found them in 5 minutes. And the one who lived there stayed inside the door locked until the police came out about a wallet. His own daddy said he felt lied to. The phone was on sinking boat. The phone ended in a dark house. And the keys played hide and seek until the police knocked. That's not confusion, honey. That is a cover story with moving parts. And meanwhile, here come the coach running to running to press. Running to press. No racial tensions, y'all. No race. Everybody love it. You know, we don't see color over here. Tight-knit community. Asked if a star athlete could swim, would promise him drowning. It would surprise me. That's what he says. It would surprise you. His own coach can't picture the water taking him. And then the coach says something real interesting about a video floating around. I knew right then in that video that wasn't Nolan. What video, coach? What video is out there that you had to get on camera and deny? We didn't even ask. And you pre-denying footage? That's not a man answering question. That's a man getting ahead of a story. Who wrote your script, coach? And now, honey, now it comes to this. The family had to move Nolan's celebration of life out the convention center. And you know why? Security, RSVPs, metal detectors, a child, his family can't even grieve in peace. And let me be clear. We do not threaten kids. That's not justice. That's not noise. That's noise, honestly. That is noise. And it gives them something to hide behind. What do we do is, honey, we do is questions. What we do is questions. That's what it is. Loud ones, relentless ones, because questions are the one thing the town cannot arrest. So let's call it. The boy said, blame the girl. The girl spoke. She went home safe on another boat with her family, while Nolan was saying he was headed back to the boys' boat, the sinking boat. Ran errands for hours and hours and hours. His phone, that no teenager would ever leave, ended up swiped in a dark house. His keys hid until the police came, and the coach is denying videos on camera. Katie went home. The boys went home. Nolan didn't go home at all. Every finger they pointed landed back on the boat. So we keep asking, what happened between he's coming and everybody's on board? Why does a sinking boat do joy rides? Who swiped that phone? Why did a dead boy's keys need police to come outside? Keep his name loud. Nolan Xavier Wells. And to his mama, we see you. We are standing with you. And we ain't going nowhere. Justice for Nolan, justice for the family, and no peace for that boat. I want to know what y'all got to say about this now. Now, honestly, let's just say the boat and the keys, they left me on that island. What would I do if I was on that island? Honey, I'll be asking, can somebody take me to the land? I hitch a ride with somebody and use their phone and call my mama, say, hey, mama, I'm X, Y, and Z. They left me out here. I mean, why would you call your own phone? You know? I mean, would you call them? I mean, these are the guys that left you out. Why couldn't they come back and get you? You know? Katie already said Nolan was not going back with her. Katie said that Nolan and her never had a conversation about Nolan going on the boat with her family. Never once. He never even asked her to go with the family. You know, he said he was going back to the boat with his boys, and that was it. So it wasn't like Katie was like, no, you can't come. Nolan never was going with Katie. He was always going with his boys. The boys are the one that made this whole situation up. You know, so comment, let us know what you guys think. And if you guys still want me on this case, let me know. Thank you for keeping us informed. Anytime, sweetheart. Anytime. Yes, justice for Wales. And did you guys know later on I can talk about this on this channel? Wyatt brother, he had a lot of racist stuff to say recently, honey. Just a couple of hours ago. His name is Ike. Yeah. He said he was just cussing the black people out and saying black people on here are worthless. Yeah. And I'm very offended about that. You know? And that just shows you how he feels about black people. And this coming from Wyatt's brother and in their household. And then he tried to throw it in my face, talking about, did you know that Nolan Wells lived with us for 3 years? Lived with y'all? Do the mama know he lived with y'all? It was given, oh, they can't be racist because they got black friends. Baby, people can still be racist and have black friends, okay? And clearly, what is going on with Nolan? Why did you leave Nolan? Where is his body at? Okay? So, this situation is all messed up. And we're going to stay on this, and I appreciate y'all for staying with me.